but they waited for you.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, Spencer.
Well, like always, good morning. We are late, as many of you might be, a little bit tardy because we had so much fun getting ready for this. And we wanted to come together again. This is Michael Phillips, Alex Brett Schneider, Spencer Pollock, and Violet Sullivan. We have done LinkedIn Live for a couple of times now, and they were my guinea pigs. We all tried LinkedIn Live for the first time. What was it, a year ago, guys?
Feels like yesterday.
I think it
feels
was
like
longer.
yesterday. And I've probably done, 467 lives since then, right? No.
We did our
Anyway.
holiday special though a year ago.
Yeah, so I think we started before that because we did a holiday one last year.
Yeah,
So
I
much
think we
of
did
like
ours
July.
July, and then we did the holiday special.
So this is our annual holiday special now. It's going to be like, I don't know. What are those? Isn't there a Sabrina Carpenter holiday special?
There is this year.
The
There's
nonsense.
also a Nate
this is
Bargatze. That's
better
more my style.
than that because we're going to talk about cyber.
Do we have
Well, do you
80
feel like
people
we
attending?
needed to be late because it was Spencer Suspense Pollock, and we just were building suspense for our audience?
Okay, let's be honest about why we were late here. Let's just.
I had some technical difficulties.
let's
It's my
own it.
first time using the internet.
Let's
Well,
own it. Let's own it.
The cyber broker could not figure out the cyber computer.
That's right.
That's not how I remember it, Alex.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm going to do more business with CFC, that's for
Thank you.
sure.
2025 is our
well,
year.
That's a good.
That's right.
Good segue to everything that we talk about today. Disclaimer is not the opinion of our employers. This is four friends
Mine are.
Cyber and Privacy that are having fun talking about predictions for 2025 and also best of 24. So, do you really have suspense in your name? I just realized.
Yeah.
I got to keep you on your toes a little bit here.
All right, Michael Phillips, what's your best of 24? What do you
Christ.
stood out?
I was shocked. I'm shocked that you would ask me that question. I think in 2024, there's just I think I would applaud the whole market. I think or the whole ecosystem. I think we've really come to a consensus view that cyber risk is a comprehensive challenge. It's a holistic challenge. It's not just insurance. It's not just cybersecurity.
Not control.
And we have to be better at all facets of the game. And I think that's a good accomplishment for 24. And now we've got to execute on that in 2025 and really start to grow the market. Let me think. What else? I think that the IR vendor space is getting sort of more mature as well, where we've got greater specialization in different pieces of the game, and I think that's been valuable for clients going through cyber emergencies. So those are a couple things that.
Doesn't it still feel like it's crowded though? Like when I was in the space, it was very saturated. Now it feels even more so.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I look, I don't know their bottom lines, but there's a lot of competition in the space. But at the same time, there's differentiation in what the offerings are and what challenges they solve that I think we didn't have before. We didn't have specialists at the deep level we have today. So.
The one does beginning to end forensics and recovery, and the other one does beginning to finality recovery and forensics, right? So it's just sometimes it's an order of words, which is really special.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking big picture right now as we get into the year end. Just it's been a really strange year for the market, I think. But I think there's been some real steps forward as well. So.
In not joking though, I do agree with the steps. I also think it's with other ecosystems that insurance touches. Like if you think about the RSA tech world, there was in many years past a lot of resistance to, oh, well, cyber insurance is just admitting defeat, or going through this path is not part of our holistic plan. And I think I've really seen a shift this year to technicians embracing and understanding that risk transfer, getting involved more in the process.
No, I think that's right.
Alex,
right.
Are you having more involvement on the risk buying process from technical people?
I definitely think the mindset of just the cybersecurity community outside of insurance, right, has been more receptive to the involvement of insurance with the values that it can bring. And, I think we continue to get the age-old question of, if I deploy X, Y, and Z technology, will that result in a reduction on my cyber insurance? And I think we're getting there, right? I think we're starting to see something like that. What I enjoyed about this year was the litmus test of larger scale events and the market not knee jerking and going haywire, right? I think we've shown a little bit of knee jerking in the past, and we didn't do that. There was stability in the insurance premiums in terms of continuing to show some rate reduction, and I think that's a good thing. I think we held our own. I think the pricing that we had hiked things to a couple of years ago has held in the light of that, and I think that's been really cool. So I give credit to the underwriting community, not necessarily Michael Phillips specifically, but people like him for
Although
holding.
I think
holding
someone
down.
just called him comments to run for president.
No, well, yeah, no, I don't think. If nominated, I will not run. Or how's it going? Yeah.
But
I wrote you
president
in
of
already.
If I win, I won't serve.
Pass.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I think Alex is exactly right. I mean, whether you look at Move It or the CDK event or some of the CrowdStrike outage, the market weathered them without no one was slapping on exclusions the very next day. I don't think.
Yeah.
And certainly we didn't see increased volatility in the pricing. The pricing held steady, and those are signs of a maturing and higher integrity marketplace for folks. But I do feel a little guilty, Alex and I talking about the insurance market without getting Spence in the game to talk about the state of data privacy.
I was actually so comfortable with Spencer not being involved. I was hoping we would continue.
I was like, how long is this going to go where I can just sit here and look pretty? This is great. This is great.
Yeah. Can we see the gun show? I hear that your New Year's resolution is to get 8.
I don't want to scare. I mean, I'm just going to do a little flex here.
I'm just so happy Spencer dressed up for today.
I'm wearing a nice polo. Thank you. And
we said black tie or Christmas attire. Okay, that's fine.
Do you know how many texts y'all sent in the past 12 hours and how hard it was for me to keep
Would you like to read them aloud live?
There was literally 150 texts that I could not keep up with the topic. All I saw was that I'm going to get fired if we talk about any of the topics y'all suggested. So wait, sorry. So yeah, from my perspective,
Jim, please don't fire Spencer.
He's not much.
He doesn't have the ability to do that.
It's not like he's the co-president of the firm. It's fine. So wait, what did I see in 2024? Let me go one holistic, and then I'll talk data privacy. One holistic thing I saw more shit. Well, two. I'll give you 2 things. 3, because I like to talk. First, a shift away from kind of looking at vendors as vendors and more vendors as partners, right? And this is something I think I've talked to you 3 about a lot. I've talked to people I'm close to in the industry that we need to get away from the terms like service providers or vendors, because I don't think any of us are that. I think we're all partners in this. And I think that was something that was underestimated up until this year, especially when you got the more surge events and you really started to see who are good partners and who you could rely on. And so I started seeing that turn the corner and appreciation for partnerships, right? We're not just widgets that you can kind of just move in, move out. Second part is the push to go internal on the IR side, right? Between, CFC kind of led the way with this a little while ago. CFC response.
Womp womp.
No, please go on, Mr. Pollard.
I didn't say anything. Then you got, Lodestone become Beasley Security, at Bay IR, Coalition IR. I think you're going to continue to see a movement.
We just saw another job opening, right, for TMHCC IR, right? There's something floating down in text where there's rumors of other IR teams.
I think you'll always have you're going to have the need still for the external IR, but I think what carriers have started, insurers have realized, is that if they can bring it internal and grab the talent from them, it might be a more cost savings.
Well, Spencer, do you see them doing the same thing with counsel?
See, I was thinking about that, just like they did in the auto tour world,
or in
groups.
EU, they do that.
So I don't think that would work here, because every matter there is a potential coverage issue. There's no clear-cut coverage, and then the problem by state, if you have a coverage issue and you have internal counsel or captive groups representing an insured, So when I was at State Farm, if we had any smell of any coverage issue, it got kicked immediately. Like
Did
if
you
it
bring
was,
khakis?
I'm sorry.
Smell of a coverage issue?
No.
That's how your mind works? It's like
Scent. I would scent out coverage issues.
yeah, you
But-
sneak them out. Yeah, right.
Everyone is a coverage issue.
So
Right.
I feel like the line, and I'm not familiar with all the liability of bringing in your internal IR, but I feel like knowing from the IR space how hard it was to get just to gauge how many people were needed at any time because of like surge, I feel like there's a line that people are going to have to hold if they're bringing anything internal on, do we employ 1 or 2, but we can't employ 10, right? Or do we employ a certain number? Not that those are the numbers, but I'm saying there's a reaction that you need this many people, but I've seen a lot done by 2 or 3 people that when you have more, they just go in and out of rifts.
And I think you're right. I think that's the other reason why. Look, and I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with the bring people internal. I think there's pros and cons on the IR side with it. Thank you, Lauren.
The sweet
I
smell
love you.
coverage.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons to both sides, but Violet, you're right. I think cyber is unique. Like auto tort, you can figure out pretty quickly.
What is auto tort? Am I the only one that doesn't know what auto
Sorry, like that's because that was what I was in. I was in auto tort defense for like 5 years. So what is that? Property casualty.
Yes.
So property casualty, like they have good statistics to know. Okay, this year we're going to see this many claims.
How do you spell that, Spencer?
What's it smell like?
Smells like you should come to the district court in Baltimore City with me, and you'll know the smell pretty quickly.
Could you imagine the next time I'm on like a client scoping call for an incident and the client's like, yeah, we don't have MFA on our VPN. And I go, you guys smell that? Smells like a coverage issue.
Smells like a coverage issue. It has that smell to it. Alex, you should give the story about you and me on a scoping call. I would let you hammer me about that. But no.
You are?
Yeah, we could do that later.
Oh my God. Spencer showed up in a Dr. Pepper t-shirt.
It was an awesome t-shirt.
Was he wearing it on the top of his body or?
He was.
I have never got such an angry text from Alex in my life. I literally just wanted to go off camera and sulk into the corner. Sorry, the last part. So data privacy, what I've seen now in the past 6 months, which is scaring the living whatever out of me, is regulators tacking on data privacy investigations into data breach notification investigations. So literally we're getting 2 where they'll bottom out, basically, come at us saying you notified about a data breach notification. Great. We're going to hammer you about that. But now we're interested in the privacy side too.
Well, you're already in their system, right? They're just going to keep it's easier than opening a new file.
It is easier. And now it's just like a guess and check game. It's a fishing expedition where
Is it a money grab, Spencer?
Lauren, you need to say Coca-Cola and not Coke.
Yes, yeah. Whoa.
I have to be so careful with you all. All of you just try to get me in trouble.
You can read the text though.
Feel free. Think it's a money grab.
I don't know. I don't. I think it's them feeling out their regulatory power to see how far they can push us, to see how far we're willing to defend ourselves. The 3 times I've had it, look, and it's a limited scope, obviously. It's a very small vacuum that I've seen so far. But the couple of times, I don't want to get into a fight with them over privacy because they will crush me on the data breach side. Like, I could win if we go to the mat on the privacy side because the law didn't apply. But then again, I have to be really careful because they can hammer me on the data breach side. So I think that was a big thing I started seeing towards the end. And I think that's a big thing we can talk about later moving forward. The advent of, I think it will become a money grab. I think it will be easy. And I think it'll be easy media wins for AGs. And it's going to start being problematic on the data breach side, where they're going to use data breaches to tack into privacy investigations.
Oh, the class actions are scaring me a little bit. Seeing, following the news, right? I follow these settlements that are starting to.
Horrible. 500 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting worse. I mean, that was, I feel like 2023 was a huge uptick. 2024 was a massive one where we're getting, I think we got one that was like 5 or 6.
In data breach, not just privacy litigation, but data breach litigation specifically.
Data breach litigation. They're easy money grabs. An insurer is going to have to take it to trial at some point. It's got to be a really small class. huge policy with a big tower and a really good insurance, like a non-profit children's hospital, where it's like,
Brett Schneider, are you playing Pac-Man over there? What's going on?
Are you picking up on that?
yeah, what are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I realized my internet was slow, so I'm closing all my emails.
That's all right. Keep doing it because Spencer's talking.
I was gonna say, like, you only do this while I'm talking. Is this like the clock at the Emmys or the Oscars? They're telling me to shut up?
It's a please wrap it up.
Yeah.
Whoops.
All right,
I
I'm
didn't
done.
do that.
Next person. Next person's up.
Great keyboard.
I'm going back to my power drink.
Violet, let's go back to you. What was, worthy of highlight to you about this year?
When you were
saw
talking
both sides
about
of vendor and carrier.
A big year for Violet. Big
Was
year
a
for
big
Violet.
year for you, Violet?
Well, 24, I was already on the carrier side, so 23 was my half.
Oh.
No. So shit year for you, Violet. Last year was your big year.
Oh yeah, correct. This year's whatever.
Yeah.
This year, well, I've been hunkering down and like learning, which is what I wanted to do when I went to the carrier side. The whole reason was I wanted to. I knew that there was a gap. I'd always been on the outside of the insurance. I'd always been like sucking the teat of the insurance industry outside.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
I'd always been on that outside, and I thought, my know-it-all self was like, I know insurance, sure, I can go in, I can do this stuff. And then every day I'm learning a different insurance word because you guys have a whole different nomenclature. And I'm saying you guys, pointing to Michael.
Yeah, auto tort, smelling coverage issues. There's so much you have to learn.
There's so many words. There's new acronyms. There's like, what is enforced policies? Like, what the hell does that mean? Anyway, so there's words that everyone uses.
I don't know about that one.
Well, maybe our own internal thing, right? Like it's what policies are in force right now, right? So I'm using my hands a lot like Carolyn. So what I've felt this year was that not only am I learning more about cyber insurance and understanding the insurance market and the people that are in there, but I feel that this year is kind of validating insurance also. And going back to Alex's comment that there wasn't a huge knee-jerk reaction or major events. My eye was open. I mean, this is the year, admitting, ignorance here, but this is the year I learned why a waiting period matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what all the things around the July event with business interruption, there were so many details in that instance that said, oh my gosh, I have so many new appreciations for every step of the conversation, and every word really does mean something, right? So you think back, I think I've gotten a new appreciation for the words in the policy and the insuring agreement and all of the things that I probably hadn't touched before. That's just a personal one, though. 24 is also, I would say, yeah, Lear.
But I do think it's interesting, right? Because I feel like incidents in terms of both frequency and severity were up in the second half of this year. Are you guys agreeing? Yeah, all right, I'm getting the nods from you all because, it's a reminder that just when we start to think that we've got great controls deployed and all the things, it's still out there and it's still happening. And then when it is happening, it's painful. I mean, the ransom demands are bonkers in some of these cases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's bad. And I promised myself I wouldn't leave this call without saying the word supply chain. I think in 2025.
Well, no one said AI yet, so I can't. I haven't been able to drink. I've got alcohol sitting here, but
there's something here as well. The whatever we think is going to happen politically in 2025, it certainly seems to me that we're going to see companies, especially middle market and large risk companies, have to restructure their supply chains to whether they're worried about tariffs or they're worried about geopolitical fracture. And as a result, that means we're going to both risk managers and underwriters have to be better at understanding, what vendors are.
I love that topic. How does insurance solve for that? How are we solving for this supply chain risk?
Longer underwriting applications, I think.
I think geopolitical fracture, by the way, is on my Michael Phillips bingo card. Anyone else in the world?
That's pretty good. Yeah. You're getting really smart on this call.
We only have like 5 minutes left, so we have to get to predictions really quick now. Thanks for teeing us up, Michael.
I tried.
Thanks for being
Spencer?
late, Alex.
Predictions? Is the world going to burn?
No, I think you're going to see more sophisticated attacks with AI, but I think you're going to start, and I think we're going to have to try to catch up with AI on our end with the defense, but I think it'll equal the playing field. I think we're going to see a lot more angry regulators really getting more intense because once again, it's easy wins. And I think just as an industry, we're going to have to make a decision about who we're going to take to the mat, about the regulator side and the class action side, to try to all right, thanks.
The analogies and visuals on this call.
I have a really good one that Alex heard me say like 2 years
So
ago, that her and Nate Spurrier have never let go about a horse, that I can't say on here. No, I'm sorry. It's you don't look horse in the
mouth. Oh, you said in the ass?
Sorry, that's the thing. No, not the ass. That's what they said about me. Wait. That's what they said. Sorry. It's you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And then they turned it into something of that nature.
Well, great news. We've all gotten canceled for the
I just know well for 27 minutes.
In that case, I'm going down a button.
Alex, I got a southern one. I got a
All
southern
right,
one for you.
go. I'm done talking.
It's gonna get you canceled, okay? Or you're gonna get me. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
You're so dumb. You fall in a bowl of titties and you come out sucking your thumb.
Well, you can do that in Texas. You can say that in Texas, I think.
And we're live.
Oh my God.
All right, Alex.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, so my predictions really quick. I have one not pleasant one and one more pleasant one. I have fears of geopolitical tensions continuing to rise to the level that we see some infrastructure impact in the U.S. in 2025, and I'm scared of that. But on a more positive note, I am optimistic that perhaps we're going to continue to reach a point where incidents are better controlled from a first-party loss standpoint. The cost of the incident to the insured for recovering and resolving the incident will drive down, and that third-party tail risk in the form of regulation and class action will continue to rise, and it's going to become more of a liability exposure than the first party, and that's what I would somewhat hope. I think that's a little different style and better for insureds in some capacity.
It's interesting. It reminds me of something I always, when I ever speak with Peter Hedberg on a panel, he's been saying forever that he's like, we thought and tried to warn everyone against liability, and then nothing came, right? The liability risk. And then all of a sudden it's here, and we're like, this is what we built the third party.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, that could probably be more expensive, but I think I'd rather fight a lawsuit than have an insured who's inoperable.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, very quick. I'm going to do two. Yeah. One big ransomware arrest in 2025. That's my prediction. And then, what the hell was the other one? Maybe I should have stopped there. All right, I'll stop there.
You're predicting a big ransomware. You're predicting.
Yeah, well, we're going to get some bad guys.
WannaCry.
Do you think one of us is going to get arrested after this?
I think
live?
I think Spencer's. They're going to burst through his house any second now. And maybe one other prediction is just we're going to keep discovering new software that has a real industry concentration that we're not talking about. We're going to keep being a little behind the 8 ball on that. So, no one was talking about CDK software before the event, even though it had a tremendous market concentration in its industries. And we're going to be a little behind on that, I think, in 25.
I wonder how their stock prices do.
Buy now. I like this stock.
We didn't get time to do, Alex, we probably should have a separate thing for the who would most likely do X, Y, or Z. That would be a separate game show. You don't know, Michael, Alex and I were on the same page. We know what we're talking about.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, all of the different things.
Happy New Year.
Have a wonderful
and happy healthy New Year.
And we come together as friends and enjoy your friends and family.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Violet, as always.